Looking at this year's AP NFL Awards finalists, we've got J.K. Dobbins from the Chargers getting that Comeback Player of the Year nomination, which makes sense after what he's been through. But man, I was really shocked when I saw Jim Harbaugh not making the Coach of the Year list. This is quite surprising. Let's see who made this list and why our own Jim Harbaugh missed this list. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Think about it. This is a guy who just led Michigan to a national championship, dominated Ohio State, and then landed one of the most prestigious NFL jobs with the Chargers. That's why when these finalist names dropped, his absence really jumped out at everyone. We've seen some surprising omissions before in NFL awards, but this one's definitely raising eyebrows across the league. Let me break this down from an analyst perspective. Dan Quinn for the Washington Commanders, Andy Reid for the Chiefs, Sean Payton for the Broncos, Kevin O'Connell from the Minnesota Vikings, and Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions made the cut for Coach of the Year. These are all head coaches for their teams. Now first, let me tell you how they are selected. Finalists were determined through the AP's voting system, which was revamped in 2022 and asked voters to rank their top 5 picks for MVP and the top 3 for other awards. The winners will be announced at the 14th Annual NFL Honors Ceremony on February 6, 2025. But here's what's mind-boggling. Jim Harbaugh took a Chargers team that was basically in the basement at 5-12, completely turned them around, and got them to 11-6 with a playoff spot. That's a 6-game improvement. When you're looking at coaching impact, that's exactly the kind of transformation this award typically recognizes. Every coach on that finalist list has done solid work, no doubt. But when you've got a coach coming in and completely changing a team's culture, getting them to the playoffs, that's the definition of Coach of the Year material right there. This isn't just about win totals. It's about the complete transformation of a franchise. If we talk about regular season wins, the Detroit Lions finished the 2023 season with a 12-5 record and the 2024 season with a 15-2 record. It's a good achievement, but there hasn't been significant growth. They were at the top of their division last season and remain at the top this season as well. The Minnesota Vikings made a great comeback. After finishing the previous season with a 7-10 record, they ended the 2024 regular season with a 14-3 record. However, they lost in the playoffs to the Los Angeles Rams. The Denver Broncos also made a strong comeback, reaching the playoffs for the first time since 2015, and they did it with a rookie quarterback. Unfortunately, they lost their first playoff game. The Washington Commanders performed exceptionally well. They ended the 2023 season with a 4-13 record, but in 2024, they are competing against the Eagles in the conference championship. The Kansas City Chiefs, last season's Super Bowl champions, are still at the top this season. Andy Reid is aiming for a three-peat. Now, let's look at the facts here. O'Connell and Quinn are frontrunners for the award, but Harbaugh's case is really interesting. He beat Payton head-to-head twice this season, which tells you something. Now, I get the Bo Nix argument. Taking a rookie QB to the playoffs is impressive, but let's be real. Harbaugh didn't just win with Justin Herbert, he completely transformed this Chargers roster that honestly had some serious holes in it. Compare that to what Andy Reid's working with in Kansas City. Sure, Reid's done a great job, but he's got a much deeper roster. When you look at what Harbaugh accomplished with what he had to work with, beating established coaches like Payton consistently, there's definitely a strong argument that he deserved to be in that conversation. Here's another head-scratcher when you look at these awards. Jesse Minter getting left off the assistant coach list. This guy comes in and turns the Chargers into the league's best-scoring defense at just 17.7 points per game. That's impressive no matter how you slice it. Looking at who made it instead, Joe Brady, offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, Brian Flores, defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, and Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for Detroit Lions. These are all solid coaches, but when you've got a defense leading the entire NFL in scoring, that's usually a ticket to being a finalist. When we talk about defensive coordinators making an immediate impact, Minter's work with this Chargers unit stands out. The numbers don't lie. 17.7 points per game doesn't just happen by accident. That's elite-level defensive coaching right there. Looking at Harbaugh's track record, this isn't his first rodeo with teams turning around. Back in 2011, he took the 49ers to 13-3 in his first season and snagged that Coach of the Year award. Not just regular season success either, he got them to the NFC Championship game, something the Niners hadn't done this century. That's why this year's snub is even more puzzling. The guy's got a proven formula for success, and he's showing it again with this Chargers turnaround. Here's what's interesting. Harbaugh's already looking ahead to next season, keeping his key staff intact with Roman and Minter. Having Greg Roman's offensive mind and Minter's defensive expertise back is huge. And knowing Harbaugh's competitive nature, this snub, it's probably just more fuel for the fire. When you've got a coach like Harbaugh, who's proven he can turn teams around, keeping that coaching staff stable is crucial. The Chargers have found something that works here, an 11 11-6 record doesn't lie. This might be exactly the kind of motivation this coaching staff needs heading into next season. So, what do you think? What can be the reason why Jim Harbaugh is not included in this list? Let me know in the comment box.